gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
So Elayna Black, FKA Cora Jade, announces that she's taking a break from wrestling for the foreseeable future. And she said, I had originally had a 10-minute long video explaining where my head's at, and maybe eventually I'll post it, but it seems unnecessary for now. I'll keep it short, but I'm going to be taking a break from wrestling for the foreseeable future. It's no longer good for my mental health, and I'll never know if that love for it I once had will return if I don't step away. I'm going to take the rest of the year to take care of me and go from there. I apologize to the fans and promoters who are looking forward to book my upcoming appearances. So she's canceling those as well. I hope you can understand. To my supporters, thank you. Bree, Elayna, let's go or be dragged. So first off, all you sickos and wackos gave her so much money on her OnlyFans that now she's like, why would I wrestle? So good job, you you down bad sons of bitches. No, it is what it is, but that's what it is. And I'm sorry, am I the only one who saw the photos of like her with Mandy Rose and felt like it looked like a hostage video? It's like, yo, Mandy Rose is like my mom. She trained me into this OnlyFan world. It's like, isn't she like over 10 years older than you? What kind of Ghislaine Maxwell is that? No. It is what it, but listen, man, these WWE wrestlers, so imagine how much of a mental toll it's taken on Cora when she leaves and people are like, oh, she's going to be a main roster star and she's around Punk and all AJ Lee and all this. And then she leaves to the indies and she can't even get booked for like half of what she thought she would because Tony Khan's priced out the indies. And when people leave AEW and WWE, Tegan Nox, Nixon Newell started OnlyFans. I never thought we'd see that happen with her, right? Because she's a really good wrestler. Like, physically, her wrestling merit should be able to get her a job anywhere. No, it's not the case. And so think about what it is for Elayna Black, for Cora Jade. She lost her dream job right when she was peaking after this long layoff of an injury. Then she goes to OF. She thinks that's the right way to go. And then all these dudes are just talking. Once you subjugate yourself to, I'm going to do OnlyFans, everyone's going to judge you. Everyone's going to talk about you, or people are only going to thirst off you. Guys just thirsting over you, baby, that's not good for your mental health. I don't care what no women want that. No women want every dude, can I sniff your asshole, baby? No, that's not good for your mental health. And then also having dudes all over you and, you slut, all these virgin incel, you do the OnlyFans, of course. That's not good for your mental health either. And then you try and get a gig out there in the wrestling world and you're not worth half of what you thought you were because these indie feds, even though they're seeing a big boom, they can't afford to bring in everyone. I've covered it here on the show. They can't have Matt Cardona and an AEW guy and, just name these, and Tegan Nox and Elayna. Like, they can't have everyone on every show. And so I feel for her, man. I do feel for her. And she deals with some sickos, and we'll talk about that in a bit. And I hope she makes her way back to wrestling. I think if she thinks she needs a break, that's the way to do it. But at the same token, I think that's a reality shock. That probably like burst a bubble in her head when she looked at the OF numbers and went, holy, I don't ever have to wrestle again. And then she looks at the IWC and the way people, and she's like, why would I even do this? You guys know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But for now, we lost Cora Jade, Elayna Black, to the black hole that is the wrestling business. And I hope we do see her again. I think like she did all those elaborate ass vignettes that she invested money and time into and probably got writers. And then what? There's like no hype, no AEW's reaching out. She thought she wanted to go to AEW. None of these people reach out. It comes to the harsh reality. If I show my tits, I get more money. What the fuck? What did I put all this time in training? My whole dream, my whole life is nothing because people don't actually value my fucking wrestling or whatever, right? So that's got to be tremendously horrifying wake-up call for her, and that would be So ladies and gentlemen, Banjo's in the chat for come on down to South Park and meet some friends of mine. So the new TNA wrestling attendance record has been set, 7,623 TNA Slammiversary all-time TNA record attendance right there. So good for them. Trick Williams pulled up in Booker T's old robe from TNA, or a replica of it. So there you go. He was there in essence. Mustafa Ali had this to say. So this guy, Dirty's Hub, says absolutely disgusting stuff. Everyone in that group should be punished. So if you guys remember on TNA, Ali took this scary, scary bump, like landed on his neck. None of these guys caught him. And so, yeah, this guy's like, everyone in that group should be punished for not catching Ali. The entire point of the dive to the outside is that the person diving has the people there to catch them, not part like the Red Sea. Just regurgitating Meltzer shit. I just can't stand how botted social media has become. It's too much. The dead internet theory is real. But this guy is right. But it's just like saying shit that you've heard 100 other people say already. But he says totally unprofessional stuff here. Totally true. But then Ali says, I appreciate everyone's concern. Unfortunately, I have to pull the curtain back here because the talent at ringside was absolutely not responsible for that fall in any way. And they are getting all the blame. They did exactly what they were instructed to do. I tried to do a variation of a dive and simply slipped off my opponent. No one to blame but me. I'm all good. See ya on Impact. So Ali, being a good professional and being a good leader, showing good leadership qualities, he's saying, it was on me. I tried to do a variation on the dive I normally do. So unless I practice the variation and how people are going to catch me, we have to do it live. And live, I fucked it up for everyone, and now they're getting the blame. He didn't have to do that. He did. It's 2025. I don't give a fuck if people pull the curtains back like that. Who cares? TNA Wrestling announced that its biggest event of the year, Bound for Glory, will be held on October 12th at the Tsonga Center in Lowell, Massachusetts, marking the first TNA live event in Lowell since 2013 and the first TNA pay-per-view in the city since the legendary 2008 lockdown event. This is what it's all building up to. So again, everyone's like mad about Slammiversary. Even me, I was like, WWE took a shit all over them on this. But it's likely building to a mega invasion that myself, Fantasy Mark, booked at the start. I hope I said it. Go back. Listen to Phil, dude. Last year, I'm saying I hope we get an invasion style pay. They're already stealing all the names of the WCW and ECW pay-per-views. Do TNA NXT Invasion or whatever. That'd be amazing. According to TNA, because I asked the question, I'm like, I think the Slammiversary is their main one. Chat's like, yeah, they kind of gave up on BFG, or it just doesn't seem. But BFG, I was like, is that their mania? According to them, it's their mania. So, hey, we fucked up. We got mad at their SummerSlam not concluding the TNA, or at least, right? So I think in New York, it would have been correct to crown Santana. I stand on that one. We're also just seeing a huge plot point in like, this BFG is where it's going to go down. Like, that's their WrestleMania in October, right? Essentially. So I love October. I'm an October baby. Rocktober is what I call it. So I'm excited, and we'll be there for this one. We'll be there for hopefully all the TNA PLEs going forward. Real talk. Speaking of TNA PLEs, here is Trick Williams rehearsing his entrance backstage, and he is just feeling it, man. He believes he's stepping into that. Trick's coming into his era where he is just him turned up to 10. Like, those are the best wrestlers. It is you. Okay, is Stone Cold gonna just like knock a guy out? No, but if you watched his episode on Punk'd, where there's an episode of Punk'd where, and I watch it on Patreon with you guys, but there's an episode of Punk'd where this guy's like bullying his employee, but of course it's a work because they're trying to trick Stone Cold. And he talks that he's like, yeah, you really are a stupid son of a bitch, aren't you? You know, like he really does talk that way to people and shit. It's just him. So Trick is just feeling it. Like, look at this. This is in the rehearsals, in the warm up, you know?
Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick, trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick, trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick, trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick, trick. Whoop that 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 trick.
I like it. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. You got to love it. I love Trick. This is what AJ Francis. Now, you guys, if you listen to the stream, I could not stop laughing. And within 10 minutes, Francis didn't even get out the showers yet, and he's fucking tweeting people. So funny. But he does this moonsault off a ladder, right? And he lands gracefully. He overshot it a little bit, but it was like actually really good. and he redeemed himself from being Flop Dolla, right? Like the whole Flop Dolla thing, it's like, all right, I mean, he did some crazy shit there. That kind of goes away. He proved everyone wrong. Then he gets pushed off the top of the ladder. He falls over the top rope, sacks himself. You guys saw it. His legs go through the rungs of the ladder, and then everyone's just laughing at him, calling him Flop Dolla again. And it was just so, like, karmaic, if you will. He erases the Flop Dolla thing, and then all of a sudden he just flopped over the top, fell through the rungs of the ladder, wiped out. Luckily didn't snap both of his legs, and it was just hilarious as shit, right? But that being said, he was on the Ariel Helwani Show in person. So was Eric Bischoff, a very pro wrestling heavy episode. And why? Ariel, a lot of people in the MMA sphere or who cover both, like myself, believe that he is trying to like work his way into the wrestling side of shit because his whole uncrowned thing with Yahoo Sports has overall been a failure. You know, he's not like his YouTube views aren't there. His other shows aren't hitting that good. I just don't know if this worked out and the way he thought. But the wrestling gets him more views and shit like that than talking to like fighters and shit. So it's interesting on that side of things. But either way, here, shout out Ariel Helwani. I enjoy your show, bro. Watch it all the time. And here is AJ Francis on the Ariel Helwani Show talking about the event.
One of the things I love most about TNA is after the shows, 90% of the roster is in the hotel lobby, drinking, smoking cigars, playing Uno, just talking, telling stories. The 2 a.m. Matt Hardy comes back from the Hardy Boys signings. Road stories is some of the best times of my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what I love about TNA, the camaraderie, the teamwork, the fact that we are all in it together and we in the trenches together. And we at a point now where now we're finally getting the recognition we know that we deserve. And last night was a testament to that, man. I couldn't be more grateful to be a part of this team.
Amazing.
One of the things.
Yeah, say what you will, Francis has helped elevate TNA. But what hasn't helped are the cage match sickos. So cage match, they rated this event a 2.13. I don't know what went down, or they voted Great American Bash better than All In, but they voted this a 2.13. I don't know if it was a 2.13, but again, no matches blew me away. It left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. And especially when the fans, like, they all show up for that show and you get 8K people almost in there, and then you're just going to shit in their mouths with that. I just think that was kind of fucked. You have to give them one feel-good moment. But I'm here for the ride, and I can't wait for NXT tomorrow. I got to be honest. But here's what, speaking of number twos, Eric Bischoff believes TNA can surpass AEW as the number two on the Ariel Helwani Show. Let's take a listen to Easy-E here, old Uncle E.
Out, and they're making a lot of smart decisions. I remember when Carlos came on, they made an announcement when Carlos came on, and I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. But they're making they're growing incrementally, right? And they're doing it almost quietly. Like, they're not out there thumping their chests and talking about taking down the competition and all the, the crazy stuff that, for example, AEW did in the very beginning. They're just quietly going about their business, producing great shows, bringing in great talent, and getting involved with great partnerships, and they're growing their business. And that's the part that excites me, watching a business grow, especially a wrestling business. Got a little bit of an affinity for it.
Yes.
So it's been fun watching TNA grow.
It's been shocking somewhat for me because I felt like they were almost dead a few years ago, right? It just felt like they were going nowhere, that they had no momentum, and now all of a sudden 7,600 at a big arena last night. The deal with WWE has obviously been beneficial, but it just seems like they have a ton more momentum than maybe 3-4 years ago.
They're one deal away from being a major player.
Wow.
If they get
So Bischoff signed to Paradigm recently, and he's spitting game here. They're growing slowly. I get excited seeing the growth as well. Pause. They are one TV deal away from becoming a major player. Like, imagine if they get a TV deal and they start putting up 300,000 to 700,000 viewers. Now, that's not going to happen all at once. It's not outside the realm of possibility that they get to 300,000 viewers on TV in the next 5 years. If they keep going the way they're going, it wouldn't shock me. It's quite interesting. And Bischoff would know as far as the TV aspect's concerned. And he's saying it. They're one TV deal away from being a major player.
broadcast partner, if they get the right right broadcast situation, because they've got the product. They know what they're doing. It's a good team of people. They just need a bigger platform. And if they get it, watch them take off.
Are you surprised by this? Did you think they were dead?
I'm surprised by it.
Yeah.
I wrote them off a long time ago.
It felt like they had, I mean, there was no sizzle. It was good.
And how funny is it that Dave Meltzer goes, "Oh, for those of you that wrote off AEW like it's a failure and it will fail, why don't you get triggered about them writing off TNA?" Things can be true. Like AEW can be failing. It doesn't, and we can all write it off, but it doesn't mean it can't come back or it's always going to be a failure. Same with TNA. I had written them off too. I made the same comparison. AEW is just going to TNA themselves. Oh, they're TNAing themselves. That's what I'd said forever. Why? Because TNA is this thing that could have been, and then it never was because they fucked it up. Now it's making a comeback. Wow. Incredible. AEW do the same. Dave, you were being honest about TNA when Hogan and Bischoff fucked it up. I don't know. I didn't read all your TNA writings. I'm sure there's a lot of dishonesty in there too if we dissected it. But back then, you were honestly reporting their numbers and their gate and their houses and all this shit. You don't cover AEW the same way because you're trying to prevent the failure. You didn't care about preventing the TNA failure. That's why we can call this shit out, because it's so obvious what like a Dave Meltzer's doing. And when everyone's like, "Oh, you know, you write it off, you guys writing AEW off," doesn't mean they can't turn things around. Doesn't mean Bischoff isn't allowed to, or is wrong, or is whatever. It's technically wrong. Like he'd have been wrong if he wrote them off and then they rise from the ashes. Damn, I was pleasantly surprised. That's all anyone wants from AEW, is to be pleasantly surprised. But instead, Meltzer's focused on diminishing WWE, tearing women's wrestling and TNA down when it's not happening with AEW. When TNA's working with AEW, he's praising TNA and Omega's doing their big nut, blah, blah, blah. All he's interested in is tearing down everything other than AEW. And this is proof right here. The fact Bischoff can just like a normal human being without going, actually, you know, well, Brian, he just says, I wrote them off. I am surprised. This is crazy. So there's proof Bischoff will change his mind. AEW's done nothing to change his mind. And you spurging out isn't going to change that for anybody.
There was no sizzle. There was no steak. There was no plate.
There was no nothing.
There was no pan. There was no anything.
Could they, at some point, pass AEW? They'll never get to WWE. Let's not get crazy. But do you think they could be number 2? Do they have what it takes?
By this time next year.
You think so?
I think so.
This time next year, Eric? Really? It depends on the TV deal, though, right?
Depends on a TV deal.
If the TV deal isn't a big one, isn't a great one, that will be tough.
Damn near impossible.
Right. But you feel like they could do it this time next year.
With the right television partner.
They're number 2 this time.
You know, what's number 2? By what revenue, by what measure do we define a number 2? But I think in terms of television ratings, popularity, yeah, they could be number 2 in a minute.
What are they doing right that you think AEW is not
They're
doing?
just doing the basics. They're doing the basics and producing a show for the mainstream wrestling audience, not for that 10% hardcore sicko that everybody thinks is a cool demo, because it's not.
While at the same time, I want to add to what Bischoff's saying, at the same time, they cater to their hardcore fans. And if you follow TNA for years, you're still getting payoffs, and they focus on their stars. I know last night wasn't a case of that, but whatever. But at the same time, they are booking for like a mainstream audience and making plays towards that. Tony Khan is trying to force his and Dave Meltzer's idea of what wrestling should be down the mainstream's throats. The mainstream rejects that every time, bro. And if he didn't want to be mainstream, he wouldn't be on TV. So save me with that bullshit. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was TNA News.